Hi, I'm Ross from Energy Matters. Today we're going to be talking about blackouts and the importance of blackout protection. When you buy yourself, obviously solar power system, panels, inverter with blackout protection included, and of course as many batteries as you can afford. With the Cheaper Home Batteries program in full swing now, getting batteries has never been more affordable. And for those of you who are still kind of procrastinating as to whether or not you should, or kind of working out the math to see if you can afford to get them, I would certainly recommend that you do. Main reason, we got one of these from Energex about 2 weeks ago, telling us that we had a planned blackout. Now this was going to happen between 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 p.m. And really what that meant to us was we would lose complete power to our home as well as to our entire neighborhood, and I don't know how many other streets or how many people in our particular area were impacted, but from the Facebook group it looked like quite a few. So in our particular home, we have a 20 kilowatt solar system provided by AIKO panels. They're amazing, they're all black, they're beautiful. But we also have the GoodWe EHB 10 kilowatt single phase inverter. And that supports 38.4 kilowatt hours of batteries. So we've gone pretty big on our home. We have a 4-bedroom home, but it's only a family of 3, but we do use a lot of electricity, and we've got huge plans for consumption in the future just with the electric tools that we use. I mean, our home is completely 100% electrified. So really for us it's about being carbon neutral and also carbon positive. Now, the importance of having blackout protection is when there is a blackout, in this case, a planned one, really you lose all power to your home because the grid is essentially disconnected. And if you have a solar power system which does not have blackout protection, your solar power system will also not work, therefore deeming it useless. So by having blackout protection on your home, and particularly in your inverter, and built into your system, what it means is when the power is turned off from the grid, be it a planned one or an unplanned one due to a weather event such as the cyclone a lot of us went through last year, Cyclone Alfred, the power to your home will disconnect, but within a split second your batteries kick into gear, and your solar power system, as long as it's still working because there's plenty of sunlight out there, will continue to power your home. And if you have batteries, power your batteries. So for us, it was a seamless experience. We in fact forgot that there was going to be a blackout because it happened so quickly, and it wasn't until about 2.5 hours later we realized that the internet was fairly slow. And when we then checked the internet, we realized the NBN had texted us to tell us there was an outage due to a blackout, and we're on 4G mode. So it still worked, still had reasonably good internet connection, but luckily we have 5G coverage here as well, so we could tether to our phones if the speed was too slow. Our experience was absolutely incredible. Everything worked to the point where we had absolutely no idea we were going through a blackout. As you can see, the meter showed absolutely no reading whatsoever. The little GoodWe device that basically provides all the information to us had no power to it. However, when you then look at the actual home itself, the lights working, the fan was working. I took a little walk to the solar power system to have a look at what that looked like, and as you can see, all the lights were on, the inverter, everything was powered. The actual connectivity, the Wi-Fi component built into the actual inverter itself was working, and the batteries were fully charged. The batteries actually started at around sort of 60% before, first thing in the morning. So really between that and when the blackout happened and thereafter, because obviously it started at 8 a.m., the batteries were fully charged, and of the surplus which is being used to power at home, or basically just going into nowhere. So really my recommendation is, and always will be, if you have the budget, if you can make it work financially, get batteries if you don't already. And especially with the Cheaper Home Batteries program in full swing, batteries have never been more affordable. It really isn't a case of should I, it's a case of if you can, 100% make the investment. Fundamentally, what you're looking to do is have energy independence for your home or for your business. You do not want to be at the mercy of the grid. I'm not going to sit here or stand here and talk about all doomsday predictions for weather events. You can see yourselves about what the weather is doing, how extreme it's getting, how cold if you're in the northern hemisphere, how hot it is here in the southern hemisphere in Australia. We're having bushfires, we have cyclones, we have torrential rain, we have absolute droughts. So the conditions here are getting more and more erratic. They already were extreme, now they're even more extreme. And irrespective of global warming and climate change, fundamentally blackouts happen all the time. So you really want to have your own control of your own energy. And that aside, the cost of electricity isn't getting cheaper, it's getting more expensive. And our requirement for electricity is increasing with the amount of gadgets that we have, be it laptops, be it phones, be it streaming, you name it. We are using more power today than we probably were, 2 years ago, never mind 5 or 10 years ago. So, and that's just going to continue as we have more gadgets, more toys, more automated things in our homes. More things that are, electrified homes equals more energy consumption. So really, you want to be investing in a solar power system and battery storage as soon as you can. My recommendation, of course, would always be, some incredible brands out there. I'm using GoodWe for my own home, modular battery, which means you can just keep on adding additional batteries as and when you require them, and on top of which, as many solar panels as you can fit on your roof.